Let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Puck It with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Puck It with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X as well as YouTube. Firstly, I want to give a shout out to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day to the moms, grandmas, stepmoms, foster moms, surrogate moms, and all the dads that are doing a double duty. So you guys, all the best in your day. Let's start talking some hockey now. If you missed that crazy not overtime, it looked like we're going to go to overtime. Edmonton versus Vegas. You know my money was on the Edmonton Oilers. I expected them to do what they're able to do in that first period to start, where they came out, Corey Perry getting 2 goals, but Vegas did answer back. My heart is happy to see Vegas being able to pick up that win in Edmonton, but damn, that was a shocker. Riley Smith tying it up with 3 seconds left on the clock. It looked like we were going to OT, and you guys know I was riding with the Edmonton Oilers on the puck line. Not many times I like to ride with Edmonton, but I did think they would have the upper hand back on their home ice. But Vegas, with their backs up against the wall, really made a series of this. So it is 2-1. If you didn't see that, you should have seen the shock on the fans' faces as that game did get that goal. And Vegas won it with no time for Edmonton to answer back. So absolute thriller out there on the ice last night. We've got 2 games on deck today. The first game is a day game, so we got to jump into this right away. Game 3 between the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. This series returning to Dallas, tied 1-1 apiece. Your night game will be the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Florida Panthers. Now, the Panthers were able to pick up a win on their home ice in game number 3. Toronto still leading this series 2-1, looking to get another win here, but we'll see what they've got. You lost Caps bet. Yeah. The Washington Capitals look like such a strong underdog coming in to yesterday's matchup versus the Carolina Hurricanes, but the Hurricanes just had something different to say. So, yeah, I was on the wrong side of that as well. Carolina just came out so strong on their home ice. So let's jump into today's bets, you guys. We will be live again tomorrow noon Eastern. If you guys can hit that like, retweet button, I would so greatly appreciate it. Vincent, good to see you here this morning. So it helps me, and it means the show will be back next season as long as you guys are interacting with the show, especially over on X. So let's jump into today's 4:30 Eastern puck drop for the Winnipeg Jets versus the Dallas Stars. Now, the Dallas Stars are the favorite here at home, minus 130. You've got plus 108 on a Winnipeg's Jets team that should be so confident rolling into this matchup, and a total of 5.5. Road teams can win out here. We saw it last night with the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Winnipeg Jets were a strong team all season. And while better at home, especially on that defensive lockdown, they do have the ability to roll into Dallas and get the win. I'm going to look at a couple of things in this one. I think the confidence level of the Winnipeg Jets is going to be through the roof, especially Connor Hellebuyck. We know the hiccups in the first round versus the St. Louis Blues for him out there on the road. I think they're being put to bed after he was able to get a shutout in that last game. So in that last game, he faced 21 shots on goal. The defense did step in, had 13 block shots on net. I'm going back to Connor Hellebuyck, over 22.5. Save shots on goal. I know it didn't hit in the last one. It's minus 118 in this, but Dallas with last change will get those matchups. Will get a couple more shots in this game. Now we're looking at Jake Ottinger on the other side, and I do think Jake Ottinger is worth looking at fading here. I won't take his props, but we're going to take the Jets team total because of it. You look at Ottinger, and we go all the way back into the regular season, looking at his past 12 games. 8 of those games, he's allowed 3 or more goals. So looking here at the Winnipeg Jets, that power play, we saw the conversion on 1 of 5 opportunities in the last game. If they can convert 2 of their power play opportunities, I do think we can see their team total of 2.5 go to the over in this game, because I just don't trust Ottinger. So in those last 12 games, 8 of those going 3 or more goals, He's had an 895 save percentage, a 3.35 goals against average. We know the Winnipeg Jets have the ability, they have that fire to be able to get those goals on him. Now, remember, they did get 4 goals on him in that last game. So I think they have every ability to do so. When we look at that last game and we look at really how it broke down, finally seeing the conversion on the power play for the Jets. We didn't see it for the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars got shut out, even though they dominated that faceoff 57.1% of the time. The hits and the shots on goal, pretty close here. 43 hits versus 37 for the Jets. 21 shots on goal for the Stars versus 25 for the Jets. So pretty good there. We look at the goal scorers, and it was really good to see Ehlers step up for the Winnipeg Jets. 2 goals in that last game, 1 assist. Lowry got a goal. Vladardi got a goal. DeMello got a couple assists. Fleury got assists. Josh Morrissey got an assist. Nina Ryer got an assist. Mark Scheifele got an assist. I feel like Oprah saying that, right? Like they were able to get those points on the board. So if you're riding any of those players and their points, it was a great one. I just think the confidence coming in here and the health, Mark Scheifele, Ehlers, Josh Morrissey, all healthier out there on the ice. And I do think they'll have those playmakers come to play. So if you don't want to take the Jets straight up to get the win, I do think no matter what, they get 3 goals. Now, could we see it being that high 4-3 game? I hope not. I don't see it being that way. I think the Jets win this 3-2, 3-1. The Jets team total over 2.5 goals coming in at -128. Now, because I do think it's a 3-2 more style game, 3-1 style game, limited on props here, but let's look at a couple that I would look at if you want to put them in. I did put 2 in. So I'll give you the 2 that I put in. Of course, I'm always searching for plus money. The one I put in for the Jets is Perfetti. The one I put in for the Stars is Granlund. Now, why I'm looking at those 2 players, you look at Perfetti, he's yet to hit the scoreboard in this series, but in that series versus the St. Louis Blues, those last 2 games, he was on absolute fire. He's on the second line and second power play unit. We're getting the most value for Perfetti. Perfetti for points plus 164. When we look at Kyle Connor, yes, I think he can get a point today, but he's minus 235. I just don't want that kind of bet, you guys. So if you don't want to take Perfetti, I don't blame you, because it's harder for him to get a point than Kyle Connor, who's leading in the postseason here with 12 points, but I can't lay a minus 235. You could look at Kyle Connor parlayed with like Mikko Rantanen on the other side, because I do think both have the ability and both are minus like 250-ish. Let's just say both averaging 250-ish. So if you parlay them together for a point, you're taking one player on each side, you're going to get that at plus 100. So if you like doing things like that, you can definitely look there. I won't be. I'll just take Perfetti for the point at plus 164. But I do think Kyle Connor and Rantanen should be able to get a point. So 2 minus 250s, you're getting plus 100 right now on FanDuel for those guys. So when we look at the other side for the Dallas Stars, we got Granlund out here, plus 148 for the point. Now, versus the Avs, he had a goal and an assist. He's on that top line with Mikko Rantanen and Rupe Hintz, and he's on the second power play unit. So he's not on the top power play unit with those guys, but he is on that second line or that first line with them. And I am looking at Mikko Rantanen to be able to light the lamp today. So if Mikko Rantanen's lighting the lamp, Granlund has every ability to get his point via an assist. And then his point just is coming up at plus 148, because that allows us at the power play opportunity that didn't convert the last time for the Dallas Stars converts here. The Granlund on that second power play unit, if that unit can score, Granlund should be part of it. So I'll take Granlund for the point at plus 148 here for the Dallas Stars. Cole Perfetti at plus 164 for the point for the Winnipeg Jets. If you want to look at someone else for the Stars, and because I think it's going to be a lower scoring one, you can choose between Granlund and Jason Robinson. We know Jason Robinson came back from injury. I do think he starts to come alive now in this game. So he's minus 106 for a point. I don't hate that. You're still going to have to lay a tiny bit of juice, but it's not as much as some of these other guys. And Jason Robinson is on that second power play unit and on the third line with Wyatt Johnston. We know Wyatt Johnston has been strong. When we look at the last 10 periods, it's Wyatt Johnston has scored and Mikko Rantanen has scored. No one else has for the last 10 periods for the Dallas Stars. So something to definitely take into account when you're looking at line mates on those lines, just for the point for Jason Robinson. And we know before injury, before the end of the regular season, when he got injured in that last game, Jason Robinson, one of their best forwards out there. So you would think that point is loading for him today. Good morning, Kev. Good to see you here today. All the Stars and the Jets are going under. I agree with you. You look at these two teams, and I got a great trend for you. The under has gone 10-0 across the last 10 meetings between these two teams since November 11th, 2023. It is just crazy how strong these teams have been to that under. Your only fear is that empty netter kind of situation, but with this series tied 1-1 apiece, I don't see the urgency to pull goaltending like with 7 minutes left in the clock. We're going to see those coaches, lock down, pull goaltending with like 3-4 minutes, not with that 7 minutes. So I definitely go there. Yeah, Hellebuck for those saves. He's got to come out nice and strong. And yeah, Kev, if you like the Dallas Stars, I would look at that 60-minute line. I do think this is a tight battle between these two. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. Yeah, Glad the Ripper. Good to see you here. Let's make some freaking money today. Okay, so that's where we're going with that first game. If you want to look at Wyatt Johnston for the Stars, he's minus 128 for his point. Again, Mikko Rantanen, he has 8 goals in the playoffs for this season so far. His point today minus 235. So again, I can't take it. And that's why I was saying, if you parlay Kyle Connor and Mikko Rantanen, I do think they both have the ability to get a point today. It's coming in at, plus 100, minus 100, right around that number. So you could look at that because those top playmakers should step up. I'm the kind of bettor who wants to take Perfetti at plus 164 and Granlund at plus 148, though. I can't get past that plus money. But in a lower scoring game, be very careful with your player props. Let's look at the other game that should be fireworks. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Florida Panthers. And man, we've got high scoring series between these two. The over 6.5, interesting though, plus 106 to the over, minus 130 to the under. As the books start to believe these teams have to lock down. Now, the Florida Panthers would love to lock down on the defensive side of things. But is Bobrovsky been strong enough between the pipes is my biggest question. I don't see Bobrovsky being strong enough against this explosive offense of the Toronto Maple Leafs for this one to stand at the total. I'm not going to touch the full game total. We're going to look at the first period totals. These two teams have started off with a bang in that first period, and that's where I think we get the goals. If we don't get the goals in the first period, I will be coming back in on the second period over the 1.5, both teams to score in that second. If we get the goals in the first, though, I could see the lockdown in the second. So lots of live betting opportunities, you guys. Scott Wetzel and myself will be on air only till 7 Eastern. The puck drops here at 7:40 p.m. Eastern. So no live betting situations. And unfortunately, I'm going to be off of X. I'm going to be over at my mom's for a barbecue for Mother's Day. I will be watching this game. If I see something really that I have to get in on at that point over there, I will post it on X, but that's going to be very quick for you guys to be able to get that. So do stay tuned for that, but not sure if I'm going to be able to post a lot of things when I'm over there for a barbecue watching the game. The Toronto Maple Leafs are a plus 158 underdog here on the road. It looks so tempting, you guys, that plus money. I do think this will be a great live betting situation. If you do think Toronto can go up first, betting them in this game, plus 158 on the money line right now, and then coming back in on Florida when these lines flip. Because I do think if Toronto scores first, we're going to see the complete flip, basically, of these lines. The books over adjust so much. And then you could have both of these teams sitting there with plus money. And yeah, you're going to lose a little bit of the vig, but you're going to be able to make that plus money at the end of the day. Minus 192 here for the Florida Panthers going in. Total 6.5, again, juice to that under. I bet before that last game, the Florida Panthers to take this series, it was plus 175. You're now getting the Florida Panthers take the series at minus 110, so not a good place to jump in on now. That the Leafs still lead 2-1, but this is a competitive series out there. The last time the Toronto Maple Leafs made it out of the second round was back in 2002. This is the most wins they've had with 6. And I know they lost the last one since in the postseason since 2004. Now, Wall is expected in net as Stolarz is still listed day to day. Wall has struggled to contain the Florida Panthers, and the Panthers have been getting those goals on him, but Bobrovsky's also given up the goals. Bobrovsky has allowed 13 goals in this series thus far with a 4.10 or 4.10 goals against average and an .140 save percentage. So neither of these goaltenders I've seen a lot out of. I haven't seen enough to expect this one to stay under, but I don't want to take a 6.5 in a playoff game. I will take the first period over 1.5, expecting that fast start because we look at the over 1.5. It's too juiced, so you guys. So the over 1.5 at -140. I like it, and I think it hits because these teams have combined for 9 first period goals so far on this series, averaging 3 goals per game. But my problem with that juice is it's just way too much. I want the plus money. Both teams to score in the first period at +154. I do think they answer back and forth the goals in the first. This is looking like a 2-1 style first period, and I think the Florida Panthers take that 2-1 style first period versus the Toronto Maple Leafs who did in that last game. So looking at that last game, game 3, we did see Toronto win 53.7% of the faceoff. They went 1-4 on that power play. And for Florida, it's pivotal for them to not allow those power play opportunities for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They have to get their emotions in check because this has been a very physical series between these two. The last game, Florida laid 62 hits on the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was absolutely insane. Toronto returned 43. So these teams are beating each other against the boards out there. That forecheck is incredible for the Florida Panthers. And we saw Toronto get 31 shots on goal, 36 shots on goal for 31 shots for Toronto, 36 shots for Florida. So Florida unable to convert on that power play as well. 0-3 on the power play. So really nice kill there for the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you didn't play Matthew Knies in that last game, you weren't just like counting your money in that first 23 seconds. He opened up the scoring 23 seconds into the game. Matthew Knies was able to get a goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We saw the goal and an assist out of him. I tell you, this guy is playing just lights out in the playoffs. We saw Tavares for 2 goals in the last one. Morgan Riley got a goal. Mitch Marner got a goal. Austin Matthews got 2 assists. William Nylander got 2 assists. Now, one thing to note, it was an overtime win for the Florida Panthers in a 5-4 overtime win. It was Brad Marchand, of course, who got that overtime goal. He was just on fire. Brad Marchand, I believe he's got 2 goals now in this series. Him against the Maple Leafs has been outstanding in his career. He now has 33 points versus the Maple Leafs in the postseason in 31 postseason games. So loving what we're seeing out of Brad Marchand in this series thus far. He has 4 points. We took him for 5 and 7 points in this series with that great plus money for the 7. Hopefully you're riding that with me. If you didn't ride that with me, look at Brad Marchand tonight to get 2+ points. I'd go back to the 2+ points. Again, the juice is dropping on that, or the value is dropping on that. It's now at +510. We were getting at +630 in game 1. But what I was going to say in the overtime, because I scrolled there, William Nylander is getting criticized for his lack of effort in the overtime period where the Florida Panthers ended up getting the win, and people are kind of blaming it on Nylander. He really didn't move around a lot. He looked tired out there, and that's something we do see. William Nylander has been so effective in the playoffs so far, but it's moments like that where you're like, what is happening? And it's moments like that for the Toronto Maple Leafs that you do see out there in the postseason. I'm not sure if it's the conditioning or what's happening with Nylander and why he didn't give more effort, but I'm looking for Nylander to, because of that. I'm sure coaching chewed him out, and I'm sure Nylander is going to get back into things because Nylander is leading this team in points in the playoffs. He's got 15 points. He's playing elite hockey, but in that period, it was glaring that he just was out of steam. He wasn't rushing the players with the puck. He was kind of just standing there and like going back and forth on his skates to where that puck was going. So different style maybe of hockey for him out there. He was maybe trying to just watch that puck and get in front of it, but not sure what was happening. Mitch Marner second in points here with 12 points for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the postseason. Austin Matthews hasn't been as relevant as I would have liked to hope for the Leafs, but you got to look at Matthew Knies tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride the first period, both teams to score at +154. If you like the over 1.5, I think it hits because I do have both teams scoring. I just don't want to lay that juice at -140. And then I think I love the Panthers on the puck line -1.5 at +128, but I hate that +128. Laying 1.5 goals and only getting plus 128 is not a market I want to be in. I think the Florida Panthers win. I think they cover the puck line, but this will be a live betting opportunity. I want Toronto to go up and get that first goal in the first period and then Florida to answer back. But before Florida answers back, I want to take Florida at that point, either money line, depending on what line they're giving me, or on that puck line, depending on the number. So if I can get Florida after Toronto goes up, and we've got it, like Florida has to go down. So Toronto to go up first. And then if I'm coming back in on the Florida Panthers at plus 130, I will hit it. If I'm getting the Florida Panthers laying 1.5 at plus 250, at that point, I will hit on it. So I want more value in these lines. I won't lay a puck line minus 1.5 at plus 128 in a game where both of these teams are going to be giving it all. I want more value there before I hit on it. So pregame, both teams to score in the first period, hoping Toronto scores first so I can come back in on the Florida Panthers. If you like to play those hedging situations, taking Toronto going into this, if you think Florida is going to score first or go up in this game and then taking Toronto plus money going into this, and then you think Toronto's going to go up first, coming back in on the Florida Panthers with that plus money, you'll hedge those bets. So you'll lose a little on one of those, but you'll be able to hedge your bets in that regard. Because it's going to be a back and forth battle. We've seen the high scoring trends. Again, I got to stay off that total. Players to look at tonight. The players I'm going to circle are Matthew Knies here for his point for the Leafs. He's coming in at minus 104. The last game he scored just 23 seconds into this, and Knies has been nice and strong for the Leafs during the playoffs. That is my go-to for them. You could look at Mitch Marner. You can look at William Nylander. You can look at John Tavares. So many playmakers. I'm just going to circle Knies. And then on the other side, and again, he's got 4 points in this series, 2 goals, 2 assists, 7 points in the playoffs. On the other side, it's about the Matthews today for me. Matthew Tkachuk. Give me Matthew Tkachuk 2+ points tonight at plus 215. His 1 point is just too juicy. I do think he could get the goal too at plus 175. Been a little quiet in this series, right? He's had an assist in game 1 and in game 3, yet to light the lamp. I think he lights the lamp tonight at home. Plus 175 to light the lamp. Plus 215 for 2+ points, 7 points in the playoffs, 3 goals and 4 assists. So that's where I'm going. You know, I love the Sam Reinharts, the Sam Bennett's. You've got so many playmakers, Lundell. They're really spreading the puck around for Florida. So you got to be a little careful with Florida because they do have Barkov. They have so many playmakers that can get things done. Jamal, good morning to you. Thank you for being here as well. You're at your mom's for a barbecue as well. That's great. I'm glad. Say happy Mother's Day to all your moms out there. For me, you guys, it's going to be a great night out there on the ice. Great day as well. Remember, Scott Wetzel and myself are live from 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on the grid today. So make sure you do come over and join me there. Let's do the recap and let's have a freaking good day. The Winnipeg Jets versus the Dallas Stars. Connor Hellebuck over 22.5. Safe shots on goal at minus 108. Give me the Jets team total over 2.5 goals at minus 128. I do think they win it. Give me them on the money line. Give me Cole Perfetti for the point at plus 164. Give me Granlund for a point at plus 168. Your secondary points, you could look at parlaying Kyle Connor and Mikko Rantanen for a point. They're so juiced, heavily juiced. If you parlay them together, it's coming in at plus 100. You could also look at Jason Robinson. I think he's impactful in this one. For the Stars, his point is minus 106. Again, light on the points for me. I'll just take the 2. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers. I do think both teams score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 154. If you just want to take the over 1.5, they've combined for 9 goals in the first period so far in this series. I do think it hits over 1.5, but both teams scoring will give you better value at plus 154. That is where I am going to go. I do think the Panthers win this and they cover the puck line. The problem is with that puck line right now, plus 128, I don't want to hit it. If we see Toronto go up first, I will be coming back in on Florida on the money line as well as the alt puck line because at that point, they're going to be the dog. I will lay the 1.5 on the alt puck line. I'm hoping for plus 250. If I don't get plus 250 or better on that alt puck line, I won't touch it. I'll just take Florida on the money line. Toronto going up first will put Toronto as a favorite, Florida as an underdog, and we should get at least plus 110, plus 120. If you want to do a hedge bet, take Toronto now and then come back in on Florida if Toronto scores first. The players I've got circled, I'll take one from each team. I'll take Matthew Nyes for a point at -104. On the Florida Panthers side, I'll take Matthew Tkachuk to get the goal tonight, +175, 2+ points at +215. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Chris, thank you so much. I appreciate the Happy Mother's Day wishes. And again, Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, the step moms, the foster moms, the grandmothers, and the moms trying to be moms, and all the dads doing double duty. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. And ready, Sammy D. I do think we're gonna see Florida get the win today. And the moms say so too. I love it. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thank you again so much for joining me here for Puck It with Jo on SportsGrid TV. If you can hit that like, hit that retweet button, and hit that subscribe button over on YouTube, I would appreciate it so very much. You guys, all the best in all of your bets today, and if you call your moms, just give your moms a call if you're not going to see them today. We'll talk soon.